broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello there, Strain fans! Oh yeah, we're going on a night train with Axl Rose. Night train! Welcome back to the Strain After Show here on AfterBuzz TV, talking about Season 2, Episode 13, Night Train. Oh yeah, it's a night train. And now that we've lost almost everyone from Steve's Axl Rose impression, I am Matt Lieberman, joined by the full panel this week. After a few weeks' absence, Mr. Stephen Lemieux is back.
She's got eyes of the...
I disagree. There's a person in that chair, but I don't think it's Stephen.
I know.
Just
I feel
look at
like
his face.
I'm
a new face.
I can't talk. I'm like in high school.
Jacque Borowski's here.
Hi.
Zach Wilson's here.
Hey guys.
And what a finale! Like
what a finale.
We've had our issues with the Strain Season 2. But I think that pretty universally, I think it could be argued that this was the best episode of the season, if not one of the best episodes. Like maybe the first episode or last week's episode kind of trumps it for me, but it full of action, shocks, character beats, shocks in two senses. Plenty of stylish directing on the part of Vincenzo Natali. What did you guys think of it?
Does anyone want to say?
I do. I agree. I thought it was the best episode this season.
Yeah.
I enjoyed last week's more, I think just because it was building towards stuff, and I wasn't totally sold on some of the places that it went. There's some stuff I really loved in this episode, and some storylines that I think I loved where it went. I love what we got with like Satraki and Fett and Gus and
Angel. Angel de la Plata.
No,
Quinlan.
Quinlan, thank you.
Yeah.
Blanked out. But there's... We'll get into it. This is a very polar... This episode had parts that were very polarizing.
Yeah, I would say that. Some key changes from the books, for example. It also, it wasn't quite the game changer that I had hoped for. We finally got to see what was in those freedom centers, but it's pretty much exactly what I feel like any Strain fan assumed it was going to be when they were looking at those drains.
Well,
and nothing more.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be turning people into Strigoi instead of just harvesting their blood, but then it just became very Blade.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good episode, but I don't feel like it was a great finale.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we could have gotten to where this finale is in like episode 6.
I think you're absolutely right.
Yep.
You're absolutely right.
But it's weird to me because this episode, most of the characters where they're at ended up pretty much, except for Nora, where they end at the end of book 2. So I was like, wait a minute. Why do we cut stuff out of book 2 just to have a whole lot of nothing happening and then end kind of on the same note? We're still missing some big plot lines, but it's a very, I would say, if we would have put this in as maybe the 7th or 8th episode, we could have just ended with book 2.
Can I ask a question real quick? And
Sure.
this may make me look like a complete and entire fool, but I've watched this episode and the last 2 in the past 24 hours. What the hell happened to Coco Marchand?
Oh yeah, that all happened.
She got fed white blood goo.
No,
Yeah.
I know that, but she was from totally for the city and then horrified that the master was involved to I'm totally for you, Eldridge
Steve,
Palmer.
she fell in love.
Yeah.
It's love.
She was digmatized.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like they teach you in
She was
sex
stigmatized
ed.
by old Dick.
You gotta stay abstinence, complete abstinence. Because as soon as that white goo hits you, you're gonna be a completely different person.
I'll even go without a weird sex joke. Look, Steven, off camera, they had to show her whole transformation off camera where she got injected with that hot white goo. And then
You said without a sex joke.
I didn't make a sex joke, did I?
I hate you so
She got
much.
injected with that hot white goo, and because she now realizes that, she needs vampires in order to stay alive, she realizes what stress or what strain Eldridge Palmer has been under this entire time.
I think we're just ignoring the
Thank you.
the amazing chemistry that there is between Coco and Palmer.
It's true. But here's the thing, Stephen.
Explosive chemistry.
They had to do it off screen because there's so much going on in this show.
There is a lot.
So much plot that they couldn't show that on screen.
Yeah, so many storylines moved too quickly.
Yeah.
That I don't know if we could have had time for that.
Do you guys watch, or have you ever seen Peaky Blinders on Netflix?
Love it.
It's a great show.
Fantastic.
It's a drama with 6 episodes a season. 6. If this season of television could have been told in 6 episodes, and it would have been dope. Legitimately.
It would have
we're
been
not
incredible.
doing that because we're not British.
Yeah.
I don't
Isn't
like
Peaky
it.
Blinders British?
It is, yeah.
I don't like it
All
when
the British
shows know they
do
have a
that.
3rd season before the 3rd episode.
Yeah.
Or before
Yeah,
the
they get
season
cocky,
even
Sleepy
starts.
Hollow.
Oh my god.
Well, that's the thing is that they, instead of plotting out like we need to make this season awesome because we need, like, they got too comfortable where they wanted to like take their time. That's what that's how this reads to me. It's like we got 2 seasons to play with, so we're gonna string it out because we know we're gonna need whatever big twist is gonna be at the end of season 3 to really sell and get that season 4. But like they sacrificed the like just the
pacing.
the pacing and just the draw. Like the heavy, like fun draw that they could have had in this season if they'd done, I guess, at least part of what they have planned for season 3.
I have 2 things to say. 1, Ben Hyland would have killed his mother.
Yes, he would have. He would have.
The old Zach would have killed his
Yes.
mother?
The old Zach would have killed
The
his
old
mother.
Zach would have done it
He
for us.
probably read the script and was like, "Oh, I'm going to kill her." And they're like, "All right, get a new kid in here."
He's way too excited about that matricide.
And 2, let's just take this
No, it's
episode
because
on.
Ben Hyland knows what needs to happen.
He's the hero we deserve, but not the one we need.
No,
Let's,
he's the one we need, but apparently not the one we deserve.
let's take this episode and go at it from completely positive standpoint, and then at the very end we can just kind of,
That was entirely my plan.
as you said, your non-sexual injecting with white goo Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, I don't know exactly
Analogy.
what
I
you're
don't
talking
think he
about.
said the Krispy Kreme.
No,
there.
I was saying it wasn't
You're
sexual. It was a
adding.
Krispy Kreme.
So
Coco and Palmer are my new favorite couple. They
Yeah.
really are.
it's like the worst Macbeth Lady Macbeth combo you've ever seen. They're so ineffectual. It's like, yeah, let's close our account.
I stole your
Devious.
heart.
Yeah.
Figuratively, then literally.
Isn't it nice that Palmer and Satrakian now have another thing in common?
Well, I actually like that part.
Yeah,
I
Did he
like
cut
that.
out his heart.
Because it's kind of interesting when you look at their. I mean, I guess we're talking about Eichhorst right now anyway, so
Yeah.
whatever. It's kind of interesting. I actually thought that was good writing in the fact that Eichhorst and Satrakian have kind of always had this long running thing, and Eichhorst has to know how Satrakian is staying so vigilant and so young throughout all this. So they could have discovered it together that you can use the worms in certain ways. So if he's got to depend on something that's not the white from the master, taking her heart to harvest the worms from, to use it, bleed from his eyes. I mean, he might be able to harvest the worms into something, because that was one of the predictions somebody had on one of our YouTube comments, which was great, was what if the reason Satrakian had the heart full of worms in a jar
Is to harvest.
is to harvest the worms, to use them to help himself, because his lover was turned by the master, and maybe it has to be directly from the master, and Coco was turned directly from the master, so there's some
But it
value in
doesn't
that.
have to be turned directly by the master, because earlier this season, Satrakian just killed a Strigoi off the street and took
Oh,
the
you're
worms.
right, it was.
Right. I think it's a bit of a leap to assume that Palmer is aware of how Satrakian has survived for so long. I feel like he does know that Satrakian had the heart in the jar, and he wants to hold on to Coco. Coco's the one person who ever got inside of his heart, so he wants to hold on to hers. Like that makes sense to me from a character point of view. This is like a huge moment for him. It's a really crushing blow.
I just know that my first girlfriend, as soon as she dies, I'm just going to rip out her heart and put it in a jar. Makes a lot of sense, Matt.
Your first girlfriend?
Not current.
Not your
It doesn't
current
matter.
girlfriend.
Let's not do that.
I just don't know. Unless there's some withstanding past to a reason, I don't see this guy ripping out her heart immediately.
It caught me off guard too, just because like I get they're going for like there's like a poetry moment of like these two are the same, they used to work together. But at least in the moment, and that's the thing is like yeah we could analyze and maybe figure it out, but as I watched it, I was just confused because he does it so quick.
Yeah.
Like, so that he does it so quick that, like, he had to have either been told by someone to do that or have had that plan.
His plot this episode is very, very rushed, but I do like what they have done with his character. It is him realizing not only that he has no power in this situation, but that he is effectively a slave. He is effectively a slave. In order to remain alive and to remain healthy, he has to do whatever they want, and this is his one attempt to, like, you know, reach some kind of common ground or to show that he will not be pushed around. You don't have that, Palmer. You will be pushed around or you will die.
The deal hasn't changed.
I have changed the deal.
deal
Pray
hasn't
I do
changed.
not change it
I
further.
do like though how you could tell he was like basically shitting his pants when Icorst came in with Bolivar, and it was like, oh really, this is what you're gonna do.
Side note, if you haven't seen the video of Vader constantly changing the deal on YouTube, it's pretty much one of the funniest things on the internet right now.
Quality.
Yeah. This was a great Icorst episode. Between his scenes with Palmer and his scenes with Satrakian, I really,
And
really...
he's still alive.
Right, for...
The slithering little snake that never dies. But again, like, I feel like this would have been more impactful when we'd be like, damn, he got away. If he hadn't just gotten away like
So many
like
times.
20 times this season.
I know, but I really, before I knew that he got away, like towards the beginning of the episode when he's at the auction with Satrakian and Fett, that like moment where they're like just right on top of each other, and you can feel the just like hot tension, but they can't do anything about it because there's all these people here, so they just gotta hold it in.
No,
Fett got real up close. He's just like right in his face, like, I'm gonna kill you.
Also,
I'm gonna
Fett
hurt
is
you
like
so
8
bad.
feet taller than everyone else there.
Slide a piece of reaper through your ear and out the other ear. I love that, but at the same time, there were like a couple of. I feel
That
like
scene though was my favorite. Not that particular scene where he was talking about the bar, or whatever.
But in the auction.
But the auction scene was probably my favorite scene this whole season. I like the auction scene in the books. I like how they redid it here for the show. I like that kind of tension where they have you finally get the MacGuffin in the room and they're fighting for it.
yeah,
always
efficient
just-
and effective.
I always just kind of expect Icorst to break into song sometimes. Like in this scene, like no, but like watching his mannerisms, he's being closed in upon by these two brutish guys, and he's just standing there smiling, and I just expect him to like break into a Broadway song.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but it's just I feel like we could get some cabaret up in here. But on this scene in particular, it was interesting to me because I wonder why they didn't just siege the island of Cream. Like why didn't
Icorst? And
yeah, like they
right?
both knew that the book was on the island.
right.
So why didn't the Master send a ton of Strigoi to the island? Why didn't the Ancients send a ton of people to the island to just take it by force?
Because the vampires can't actually take the book by force because it's covered in silver. So they have to find a way for them to hand over the book in a way where they can bypass the silver.
Well, all Icorst needed was a canvas bag.
Yeah,
But it was during the day.
I feel like Quinlan could have
So-
walked in there and just killed everyone and took it.
Quinlan maybe. But the Ancients also, like, they don't have an army. They have Quinlan and his gang of...
Gangsters.
Yeah, his gang of prisoners.
His homies.
his wolves,
yes.
hungry wolves. That's what they were called.
wolves.
Yeah,
Hungry
20
like
hungry
the
wolves.
wolves.
the wolf.
But so I think that explains like why it had to go down this way. Is that like Icorst is the only one that could like go out at all in the day. Mm-hmm. Like even he is like has like trouble with that. And like the Ancients just don't have enough people.
Yeah.
To overwhelm a force very well armed.
Did we ever figure out why the casket or the sarcophagus needed to be driven over the river?
No.
Does the river have something to do with like the fact that they couldn't invade the
Jackie
island?
is shaking her head because she's just like,
Because Okay, just turn it off for 5 seconds or whatever. Spoiler people from the books.
Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler
Give me
alert.
that spoiler alert sound
spoiler
bite.
alert. And
Okay.
go.
In the books, the vampires cannot cross bodies of water. On the show, apparently they can.
On the show...
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
All right, guys, we're back. Well, I guess we're not back yet, but like on the show, they make a huge point in season 1 that they can't, and then we have the Battle of the Bay Bridge or whatever the hell it's called.
Battle of Red Hook.
The Battle of Red Hook.
Yeah,
completely
where
over
Icarus
a
can
bridge.
just get on a barge with a bunch of other vampires. So I don't even know what the point of that was, because I'm like, oh, well, we were setting up this mythology only to not set up this
Well,
mythology.
no.
We brought Sean Astin back, though. That was
maybe,
nice.
Maybe it
Or was that last episode?
It was last episode.
Okay.
Maybe it doesn't counteract the mythology because they did not ferry themselves over the water. They cannot transport themselves over the water. Someone had to do it for them.
So bridges do that for them, I guess?
They ran onto a bridge, but they didn't cross it.
Yeah, they didn't cross any bodies of water by their own volition. They either went under through tunnels or they were ferried across. So technically, that's still intact, I
Wait.
think.
Kelly did.
Okay, except for Kelly, who drove across because, goddamn the show.
This show hates its own mythology.
I gotta give a shout out to Kevin Durand, who like is often like the MVP of this show, acting wise. But even he this week, I feel like he had a couple of lines that he thought were so ludicrous that even he couldn't sell them, and you could tell because his voice went up in this register. Like when they're driving to the auction, he's like, oh, "Wait, we're gonna betray these people," and it's just sort of like, "Oh boy!" Like I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see that happen.
I didn't want to see the death of the bread truck.
I read the IGN review of this episode, and they actually gave it a 7.3, which kind of
I would say that's a fair assessment.
For a good episode from a season. It's a fair assessment. But one of the things they said was that for a show that carries on its suspense so much, they really just don't play to the suspense at all.
I felt like there was a level of suspense in the less in the train sequence, more in the ambush on the bread truck. Like legitimately, I thought Gus had been killed. I thought he was
I
dead.
did too.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah.
But I did think he was dead.
Oh.
Yeah, I was really shocked that it blew up with him inside. I couldn't believe that they'd gotten rid of him. I'm even more surprised that Fett and Satrakian didn't hear him sloshing around in those tunnels in the sewer behind them, because he was legitimately right behind them. Like one climbs up, and then he climbs up like almost like they had been traveling in a pack together.
They were probably like having beers down there, and then he was like, "All right, guys, you go up
Maybe
first."
they thought the swamp monsters were there too.
Swamp
You don't
monsters?
know. That's where they hide out.
Maybe
in
they
the
were
sewer.
being chased by Strigoi as well.
Not in swamps.
No.
Just
Apparently
a
not.
bunch of like
it's
dead,
hot in here.
bunch of dead dissolved Daleks down there. Doctor. Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's talk. Let's go all the way back. So Fett, he revamps the bread truck. He puts all this fun bars on it to make sure that if they do get attacked, which obviously they will,
Foreshadowing.
yeah, that it'll be okay. They have this great auction sequence, $323 million. The twist with the fact that he had pulled the money and then Satrakian was able to get it.
$353,000.
Million.
It
And I
looks
do-
like our duel will be settled in gold. Well, I tell you, our duel will be settled in silver. When I put a silver bullet in your head, he didn't say the last part.
He
That's
held
what
up
he
the
meant.
book and was like, "Ha! Can't touch this! Da 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 da! Can't touch this!"
I was just so happy for the strain at this moment, though. Instead of having Cream go like, "Oh yeah, you go back and get more money," I'm like, finally they did something. I mean, not that the show is supposed to be realistic, but finally they did something sensible where Cream was just like, "Nope, that's money in my pocket. You have the money that can go into my pocket."
323
Boom.
million, way more than I ever thought that I would get, and
Yep.
way more than I need. Perfect, let's do it. Yeah, I thought that the auction was great. The ambush I thought was really well executed, really well shot. Definitely more suspenseful than the entire Battle of Red Hook.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is also what I was thinking.
In the left corner, weighing in at 323 pounds with a peg leg, or it seems to be, we have Angel de la Plata!
Let's discuss. Because while it's great to see Angel in his luchador mask.
Right, which we wanted
all
6
season.
episodes
And
ago.
he had brought with him,
Right.
for reasons.
Let's recap his storyline for
It's
this
why
episode.
he brought his silver
Yeah.
knuckle things.
Let's recap his story for the episode. Ready? Okay, done. Because he says nothing, he does nothing, he literally is...
He looked real worried when the bread truck blew up with Gus in it.
Yeah.
There was a bigger climax for his character in the 5 minutes of his old-ass movie we were forced to watch 3 times.
It's true. It legitimately.
Like, we didn't get him getting any of the worms in him. We didn't get him, getting his leg cured by the Born.
No one cares about worms anymore. People are slicing throats and necks right by themselves all the time, and nobody is worried about worms. Every episode, we were worried about worms in season 1. What the hell? Do we not give a crap about worms?
Caring about worms ended the day that Fett crawled through that tunnel that was infested with worms. Remember?
Yeah.
And then pulled one out or something.
Or he grabbed one as it was about to enter his skin.
Yes.
But no.
I was a fan of worms before they were crawling into people.
Okay. Ultimately, they get cornered by Gus and Quinlan, and a deal is struck where...
I like how easily that deal was struck. Quinlan was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay, that's great.
That's a good deal.
Quinlan, if I give the ancients the book, do you think they're gonna let you use it to take down the master?
No?
Then why don't you let me use it, and then we can use it to bait the master?
Yo, don't listen to this fool, man. He's just an old guy. He sell you a broken clock.
No, that's cool. We'll do that. Yeah.
Let's get on the boat.
Okay.
I do want to point out something for whatever it's worth. Did you realize what Icor's called Quinlan when they were in front?
The Born.
The
Yes.
Born, yeah, man.
It's important. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, that was sort of we discussed that theory that he was
Matt
his
Damon?
mother was turned or something while she was pregnant. And
Yeah.
so that's how he became
The Born.
a daywalker.
Yes. Man, I just want to watch Blade. Blade's a lot better than this show.
See, this is the storyline that
Whoa.
I just want to watch this side of it, though. I just want to watch Gus and Satrakian and Fett and Quinlan off on an adventure, kill everyone else.
Can I just get a series of Quinlan, his inception and just his freaking, stories of...
Yeah, why are we getting more Quinlan flashbacks? The thing is, when you have someone who's been alive this long, you have a lot of flashbacks that you can use.
Also,
We're
you do
too
that?
busy worrying about what's going to happen to Justine Feraldo. Is she going to maintain her sense of morality, or will she be tempted by the money?
Is she gonna
Kill the mayor?
Is she gonna do another battle that nobody cares about watching?
Yeah,
Do we
what
need
will-
another flashback with Ephraim hair?
what will the court say about her 1% tax rate on the rich?
And what's going to happen between Dutch and Nikki? We have so much plot that we need to cover.
We need to be really positive here, so let's talk about those approval ratings with...
Right? Speaking of positivity, let's talk about iTunes real quick. Because one way to weather the storm of a crappy season of a show is to be positive for the future and to be happy that you get a recap show that tells you like it is. So the best way to support us here at AfterBuzz TV is to go to iTunes and rate and review the show. Whichever shows you listen to or that you watch on YouTube, it's quick, it's easy, doesn't cost you a dime, and you get a great shout out here on the show. Do we have any new ones this week?
Yeah, we do.
All right.
We do. JD610 says, just awesome. 5 stars. I love watching this show, and it's made even better because the Fantastic Four, the only good one in existence, is reviewing it.
Oh, I like that.
Thank you,
Which
JD.
one of you is the rock creature?
The Thing?
Yeah.
Probably me.
No.
No, Matt, you're the angriest, and you are wearing orange
I would
today.
say I'm the Thing. Yeah.
Dibs on the Invisible Girl.
He goes goes on to say, I've liked what they've tried to do over the last couple episodes and how they're shifting the plot back towards the book. I especially like the Killjoys crossover with Alvis playing the detective in episode 10. Small role. I hope he comes back to both shows. Anyways, keep up the good after show and podcast. Eagerly awaiting the next episode.
And then the other one is love listening to you guys by X Do Not Play X. I have to say that I can't wait for each podcast after each show. Love listening to all of you go over each episode. Keep it up.
You know what's funny? I got a tweet before I had seen the episode, and they had said something like, "Wow, what did you think of the episode? Book right out the window." And I really thought
that was something I retweeted too.
I really thought that, like, I was 30 seconds from the end of the episode, I'm like, how is the Occipito Lumen going to end up outside of a window?
I thought the same thing. I was like, are they going to throw the book?
Bless you, children.
And I was like, oh, wait, no, the book. Okay.
No, let's throw the book at that tweeter.
I mean, I really wanted Satrakian to throw the book at Ichlor.
Right? Because then he would have scars on his face that look like the Occipito Lumen. It would be real cool. I'm done pitching
then
cool
you'd have
stuff.
to put on more makeup.
Yeah.
You'd have to have more time for makeover makeup.
You know what we're bound to get next season, right?
What?
These pages, they're the most important, but they're in a language I don't know. We must find the translator. He's last seen in, coincidentally, New York.
What was with Rudyard Fortescue being on the dang train and that meaning nothing?
It's the night train!
Right.
Going out of New York City.
But how did he even, get out of New York City? How did he get a ticket?
He's brilliant. He said so.
He has a ton of cash.
Yeah, he
now.
sold it to Cream, man. It was his ticket to Tahiti.
Right. It's a magical place, I've heard.
It's a magical place.
It was pretty pointless,
Well
though.
done.
It was just like him with a thing of money, and that was it.
Yeah.
It was like a meet cute that didn't go anywhere.
His whole character was...
A meet cute between him and Zach.
Cookies with, what's his face? Rudyard.
Cookies with Rudyard. Which is where he offers you cookies. You've earned those cookies.
And then he beats you over the head with the cookies and then tells you how awesome he is.
Ties you to a chair, shows the cookies to your face, and then leaves for Tahiti.
Rudyard should go and be one of the people on the blacklist. Because that actor kind of, I liked him. He was so hateable, it was great.
I didn't know why this was another thing, we didn't need him. Like, if Cream had just obtained the book, I wouldn't have questioned it.
Yes, yes.
Yep. Isn't that exactly what happened in the book?
In the book, they're getting it from an auction house. So Cream's not even involved because in the books, Cream is part of something else.
All right.
Okay. Well, I like that. I mean, I liked the gangster auction where
I did like the gangster auction in the church.
The gangsters are calling Swiss banks like, "Yo, man, I got the $300 million gold approved."
Yeah.
No, I did like that. I just didn't like how we had like 10,000 fake outs before we got to that.
Yeah, it was unnecessary.
I'm mixing these episodes up a little bit, guys. The mayor was killed this episode or last episode?
That was last week.
episode.
Last episode.
week.
Okay, did you guys touch on the detective that I was just like, what the hell is he doing here? Nothing's gonna get by me. I'm the detective. Nothing's gonna get... You may think that something bad can happen in this city with everything that's going on, but nothing gets by me. Does nobody realize what's going on in the city still?
Kind of.
Not the detective.
Like, everyone is so oblivious to the fact that everyone is dying.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a big city.
Pretty much.
It's a big city, which stereotypically people don't really care about each other. Stereotypically.
Of course, only stereotypically.
Yeah.
Which they should know what's going on because there are battles and stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about Nora, and Zach, and Kelly, and our wonderful night train.
We were trying to stay positive.
There's some positivity to be had before the train gets stopped. I thought that the way they set it up was really great. I loved the goodbyes. I liked the nice little group photo with Satrakian.
I love that.
Very
I love
sweet little family
I
moment.
love how it's our second apocalyptic photo of the season.
Can we cover Dutch's storyline in this episode first?
Great. Awesome.
Okay, that was
now
good.
we can
Yeah.
That was good.
And like seeing Kelly like skulking by the train, I'm like, okay, cool. All right, she's gonna attack the train. She's gonna come in there and start killing people. And then when the train actually like derails, like when they're running over all those like hundreds of Strigoi, awesome. Loved all of that.
Cool way to stop a train.
Yeah.
I wonder why they hit the brakes, though. I feel like they'd know that if they're going through a tunnel and there's just people on the tracks, it's probably not real people.
I think part of it, though, might have been that...
Trying not to derail.
Yeah, trying not to derail the train.
If you run over a body, like there's a good, even just a regular, just any body, like there's a good chance that it could derail the train.
They
It doesn't
probably saw
matter.
that it was way too many people for them to run over and not derail the train.
There have been scientific studies on how many people you can run over with a train before it's derailed.
No, but
No,
like,
but Zach will do them.
yeah.
No.
All right, Matt, let's go.
No, Renji9998 in the chat says it was badass with the silence and the sparks. I very much agree. I thought that this sequence, at the very least, was well shot and well directed. If not, well, do we have a train rolling through our studio?
Sounds-
Yes.
Well, we were going to test it out real quick.
Oh, okay, great. But I thought it was very well shot and directed. Issues occur once you get once you separate F and Nora and Zach, and it's like, okay, F's gonna go get a drink. That makes sense. Oh, of course they're gonna be separated. Something bad's probably gonna happen, and then it's Nora versus Kelly, and she kills Nora. She kills Nora, and it's Zach's freaking fault.
She doesn't kill Nora. She bites her wrist and sucks her a little bit.
Fine. She turns Nora.
She tries to turn Nora.
My notes just say, Zach, you suck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
You
She's
ever
the
notice that Nora's always safe when F's around, but whenever she's only Nora and Zach, we get a goddamn church that just ends up with freaking Kelly about to kill all of them, and now we get them alone again, and mother flipping Zach.
And also, how is
actually-
F always a perfect shot? Because he is not a perfect shot.
He's the head of the CDC, Matt.
Okay, Jackie, you go ahead.
I actually like that we move forward with this plot where Kelly captures Zach, because that does happen in the books, and I feel like we've been waiting and waiting and waiting for it because she keeps coming around and attacking them. It's like, if it doesn't happen this season, it's just annoying at this point.
She's like walking him. I was like,
You
"Yeah,
either
this
have to kill Kelly or have her capture Zach. Something has to happen.
It's frustrating because, like, he accepted a few weeks ago that
That she's
this wasn't
dead.
his mom.
Right.
And, like, I get that he's a kid and he is, like, he misses his mom and all that, but we watched him go through that path, that arc of, like, believing his mom could be saved and, like, why don't we capture her and save her? And then, like, she attacks and he realizes that's not my mom. That's
It's like
the thing
all
that
this
killed my
character
mom.
development goes out the window.
No, I do think I agree with you in that, like, it should have been done in a different way. I just was glad that he was captured. It's just, it sucks that it's like he killed Nora in the process, who's not dead in the books and has a huge plot line coming up in the books. So I don't know what's going to go on there.
We have Dutch. We have Dutch for that.
But that is also what I thought. Actually, I did think that maybe they'll use Dutch for Nora's plot line. And then, or some
Nikki. She's a really complicated and complex character.
Yeah, it was just sad. And then I'm just like, I'm watching them walk away and I'm just shaking my head.
I was intrigued by the fact that Kelly didn't, like, hurt Zach.
Right, and
or
it seemed
kill
like
him.
the master's voice in her head was saying to turn him and she still didn't. Or was
that
she
what it's-
saying to take him?
I was saying to hate him.
To take him?
Yeah, because the
If they
instinct.
kill
with-
him, he's not useful.
Yeah, and the instinct with Strigoi is to kill their loved ones.
Right.
It's not to protect them. As much as you may say that, but the beginning of the first season, the
Yeah.
first episode, which I guess they've thrown out a lot of the first season, mythology, but like the river thing. But yeah, I think
What else had they thrown away?
Well, the river thing.
No, we just established that, with the exception of Kelly, anyway.
All right, never mind.
Yeah.
You guys, when are we going to get the bioweapon that they clearly could have easily just gotten back when they went to DC?
So F had more contacts in DC, but he decided to randomly teleport back to New York instead of reaching out to those contacts the last time he went to DC.
Well, he was really shaken up. The girl that he'd slept with twice totally died in his arms.
The
Yeah.
bioweapon is the best plotline ever.
That means Ephraim and Eldridge Palmer have something in common.
Coco?
Yeah.
The love with
The love interest that he slept with maybe twice died in his arms, basically.
basically. Yeah, so where is F now emotionally? He's lost everything.
Where the F is F?
Where the F is F? He's just on the street, just empty street, perfectly fine and normal, just kind of like shell-shocked. I like that Nora sacrificed herself. When she mentioned the third rail, you knew someone was getting shocked on the third rail.
Yeah, I was waiting for her to push Kelly, to be honest. But, I mean, the sword works. The sword to the...
Yeah.
All that
Sword works. Yeah, maybe like suicide murder with Kelly, like getting them both on the third rail would have been
Yeah, that would have been... Yeah, that would.
A lot of people were... we got tweets that were like... Sorry. Who do you blame? Do you blame Nora or do you blame Zach? Do you blame Nora for hesitating and do you blame Zach for saying stop? No. I don't blame Nora because if you hear the person that you're protecting say stop, no, you're expecting them to be being attacked by another Strigoi. And you're like, oh, I want to save them. Not stop, no. That's Kelly, my mom. That's not really my mom.
Also, history has shown us that Nora is not an idiot and Zach is.
Yes.
So we just assume that Zach is going to do something stupid.
This goes back to the times of Ben Hyland when he went for his cell phone in the basement of that place. The saga of Zach being a stupid character.
Oh, god damn.
But at least Ben Hyland would not have gotten us into this situation.
No,
Maybe
would
they
not have.
Maybe she just wanted to take Zach to get some homeschooling.
Yeah.
Some people think that somehow Nora's going to have survived, or like a Strigoi version is going to have survived.
If they do that, I mean, to be perfectly honest, when I was watching the episode and Zach went along with Nora after all of the character development to say that he should have done the opposite, I was just like, all right, I'm done.
You mean with Kelly?
Yeah, with Kelly. I was just like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I wanted to raise it just because a lot of people are asking about it, but like I'm pretty sure she's dead. Like
She's
you don't
really
do
dead.
that to a character and then just most shows wouldn't do that to a character and then just bring them back to life.
Well, you mean you kind of knew she was going to die when Ephraim says at the end of last episode, I really still love you. It's like, oh, that's not good news for her.
DJ EBS or DJebs in the chat says they didn't feel she was introduced well enough. Next season we'll get a new Nora.
And she'll have a bone sword.
Yeah, she'll have a bone sword this time.
Oh my god.
That makes me really happy. Good for you.
We'll get Sofia Vergara as a new love interest.
Hey, you know what? I'd watch that.
I would watch it too, and it fits more in line with this loopy show.
And then Gus would be like interested in her and stuff. We could have a love triangle.
No, Gus has pretty.
Yeah, he is pretty waitress.
F could be into her and Gus could be into her, but Gus's like Indian girlfriend is into him, so it becomes
And we can
love
just do
rhombus.
4 episodes just about this.
Guys,
with
let's
no
Sleepy
forward
Hollow
motion.
the F out of this show.
No, thank you. Oh man.
What, improve it?
Let me ask the question. What would it take for you to watch season 3 of this show? Because at this point, I'll freely say it. I enjoyed this episode, and I enjoyed some of the episodes in season 2.
But it feels like there's going to be a whole new after show panel next season.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch it again. I've been burned, and frankly, I don't want to do it anymore.
I would have to see a trailer or an acknowledgement from the show. I would have to, first of all, I'd have to see the showrunners acknowledge that this season was lacking.
Yeah.
So that I know that they're aware of what, like, the missteps of dragging this storyline out. Because if they're aware, then they're not going to make the same mistake. But if they're not, we're going to get more of the same. I would also have to hear from them that they are going to focus in on Quinlan and Fett and that whole squadron, and that was going to be like the bulk of it, as opposed to just focusing on F and his, in whatever emotional nonsense he's going through. I would need those things to have faith in the third season, because otherwise I don't know what I'm tuning in for.
Yeah. Steve?
If the first episode of the third season is entirely Satrakian, Gus, and Quinlan, I'll watch the second episode. If they'll take some risks to really develop these characters and like create some really interesting storylines that aren't just fetch quests, they've got the book, okay? There better not be another freaking thing that they need to get with the book. I was joking about the translator, but I'm kind of serious.
But you're not kidding. There will totally be a translator.
Yeah, there'll be a translator, then there'll be a translator for the translator, then there's going to be the freaking expansion pack DLC for the freaking Occidental Lumen. It's like, there's going to be all sorts of stuff like that.
There's a page missing from this book.
Or the first scene of the next episode is 6 months later, and all these factories are in use, and most everyone is dead in New York.
I will say that in the third book, there's a time jump. So even though they still have ground to cover at the end of the second book, I do feel like there has to be a time jump so that we can start seeing this world decompose, because we're too close to the real world right now.
I watched a show back when I was a kid called Jackie Chan Adventures.
It's a great show.
And
It's an incredible show.
They did a season where Jackie Chan and them go away, and then it cuts to 1,000 years in the future with the demons having won, and they're all in this future where the demons have enslaved the human race and everything's terrible. And it was probably the best season that show ever had. It was really interesting because, like, holy crap, like, they're jailing all these people, like, everything's terrible, and they're trying to make it better.
Or like Battlestar Galactica Season 3, where they do a full year time jump, and it's like all the humans are enslaved by the Cylons on New Caprica, and it was like just do something!
The best thing that a show can do between seasons is make the two seasons need to shift so that they feel different. So that there is something about the season that doesn't feel just like a continuation. It should be its own arc, its own story. It should stand on its own and have a unique feel so that you're not just watching another 12 to 22 episodes of the same thing that you did the last time, but with a different story.
Jackie?
No, I'm just agreeing with everyone.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I think if we got Kurt Sutter to showrun it, and we replace Ephraim Goodweather with Katie Seagal, we can have a great show.
I don't want to see any of that.
Well, Jackie, since you read the books, is there anything that you would read that you would need to see to want to know what they're gonna do next? Like now with these changes,
I agree on the time jump. I agree also as far as giving it a chance. Like once you know certain things are in place, giving it a chance for an episode or two to see how that feels on the show. If it doesn't feel right, then no. And I also do think like Sleepy Hollow, the first episode was a lot better than the whole last season because they changed showrunners. I mean, it's like not like the show would get, because its creators are Guillermo del Toro. Is he the showrunner too?
No, the
Carlton Cuse.
But he's not even the showrunner. He's the executive producer. The showrunners are Weddle and Thomas.
Oh,
Bradley Weddle and David Thomas.
They promote it as if I guess I
of course
look at
they
the
do.
credits. They
want...
promote it as if Carlton Cuse is running it.
Yeah.
No, he co-wrote this finale with Chuck Hogan, the author of the books, but I don't think he's running this show. He's running Bates Motel.
Yeah.
Because if they had if they had a different showrunner, maybe it would be better. It's just like a showrunner can make or break a show.
Honestly, I'm probably gonna watch it anyway. I'm just not gonna make it a priority.
Yeah,
It's just like I got 3 episodes behind on this show. Like if I'm getting behind on a show that I like watching, like that's yeah.
Yeah, here's what it would take for me. The premiere would have to come out, and I would have to read some really glowing reviews. Like IO9 has had some of the most entertaining reviews of any show ever this season, reviewing this show and how bad it's gotten. They would need to come out and print a full retraction. Like I would need to see them be like, this show is dope now for me to watch it. I can't anymore. I've been too heartbroken. All right, it's time for predictions.
Prediction. There they are.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay. I know we talked about hopes and dreams. What do you think is actually going to happen? Me personally, I think you're absolutely right about we need some way to translate this damn book, or there's one page that's in a different language, or worst of worst, Satrakian goes through the whole book and he's like, there's nothing here. I went back to square one. Which is also probably going to happen at some point next season.
He's got some more silver.
Yeah. F will either A, be even worse next season with all the drinking, or B, he'll realize that if he hadn't gone to get a drink Nora would still be alive and goes back to being sober and angry again, which, maybe that'll help, kind of. Kelly's got Zach. He's alive, and he's learning how to be a new master because he's going to be the vessel eventually, or at least he's the chosen one for something. And the Freedom Centers mean nothing at all.
Here's 4 things that could go down with the book.
I can't read this page. I need a translator.
Yeah.
Another thing is,
I spilled my milk and cookies on the pages. They're unreadable.
Another thing is,
Rudyard took the most important page out of the book. Let's go find him. He must be still in the subway tunnels.
another thing is,
No more, Richard. Please, God, no more.
The book can only be read by the innocence of a child. We must find Zach.
Oh, God, I hope it's not that one.
I still think Zach is going to be turned by the master, or like going to become the new master. I think that's where he's headed. And
new actor for Zach, yes or no?
No, they can't do it again. It would be really funny if they brought the kid back from season 1.
Ben Hyland!
It's like we're going to get Peter Dinklage playing Zach.
Oh, not a good joke.
That was actually a Destiny joke because they recast
I know.
Peter Dinklage.
Nolan North they would get.
Yeah, there you go.
I think that the Freedom Centers by next season will be up and running in one form or another. Or at least you'll have one that's functioning. And it'll be what I'd be curious to see is how they're going to hide that.
Right, because it's going to be impossible. Yeah.
Do you see Eldritch trying to team up with the Ancients behind the Master's back?
I see him trying to team up with Satrakian behind the Master's back.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He now has an axe to grind to
They'll
grudge.
be like Xavier and Magneto.
Yeah, well, they kind of already were.
Yeah.
Jackie?
Oh, yeah, they were.
Anything?
Wheelchair and all.
No more predictions.
No more predictions. All right, folks, that's going to be all for our show this season. I hope that you enjoyed.
One was a rich guy in a wheelchair, and the other one was a Holocaust victim, A230389.
Yeah, it was just 385. And it was
385.
like flipped on its head.
I think that was my favorite thing that happened this season.
385. I miss the good version of this show. Folks, thank you so much for watching all season. We've really enjoyed having you. Please continue to support AfterBuzz TV, rate and review, subscribe on the YouTubes. And Zach Wilson, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @ZachWilson, ThatzachWilson. And also here at AfterBuzz, I've got a ton of shows this fall. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is back in just grand fashion. I'm also doing the Muppets. We started doing the Leftovers. Me and these guys are talking Sleepy Hollow on Thursday nights, so you can
Bones
tune in for that.
crossover!
Yay!
Strain would even be a better crossover than Bones. Even with all of our complaints, it would be better than Bones. But that's a show that it came back stronger after season 2. So we have hope. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for geeking out with us, guys.
Steven?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, SDPHENLEMIEUX, as well as executive producing the Popcorn Talk Network, which is our movie network here. You should check it out because we're starting some brand new shows, including Disney movie news, Netflix and Chill, and Cinema Impact and Historic Hollywood starting this Friday.
You can find me on my website, 123jackieb.com, and that's where all my Twitter and Instagram are. Also my series, Words, Wine, and Women, which its second season is coming out. I'm recapping shows on my blog on 123jackieb.com.
Can we just collectively say goodbye to Matt Lieberman on the Strain After Show right now? Because I just have this inkling
that I'm not coming
that you're
back.
not coming back.
Well, I appreciate the goodbye, but folks, if you want to see more of me, I just launched a brand new podcast myself. It's called Ask Liebs. It's an adaptation of my YouTube show where people reach out to me. They ask me questions about anything and everything, and I do what I can to help them out and give them advice. You can go. It's live on iTunes right now with the very first episode. We have new episodes every Monday and Thursday. So check that out at Matt Lieberman on Twitter, and Superhero Roundup on SourceFed Nerd. We review every superhero show on TV plus iZombie, because why not, and because it's a comic book show. That's live Fridays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, only on SourceFed Nerd on YouTube and iTunes. Thank you guys so much. See you next season. Goodbye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Bite you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.